Hello and welcome in, you guys. Welcome back to those who've been here before. I hope you consider a like and a subscribe to the channel, to the video. Let me see here. I'm gonna jump right in. As I went to sit down, I kind of was feeling like Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland, and you know what? The Celtic Tarot, I feel like, is where, between these two, is where we're going to start anyway. I don't know. If you've heard me talk on other videos, I always say Alice in Wonderland is like going down a rabbit hole, right? That's kind of, what I feel like here. So let's see. Let's see where the energy takes us today. Just a reminder, I am a channeled reader. I channel messages. I do read cards, but usually I simply use the cards as a tool. Okay, we are jumping into love today. That's what that tells me right there. We've got the pair, Tweedledee and Tweedledum. You and your person, people view you guys as that perfect pair, like twins, right? For some of you, you may consider twin flames. We've got the Two of Flowers. So Two of Wands. Two of Wands. Setting goals with each other. The two of you in your relationship may be at a place where you're maybe discussing the future. Talking to each other about what your goals are. How you see the future. Maybe it's almost, you know what, I just, your person is actually thinking about popping the question is what I just heard. And so they're talking to you maybe more in depth, seeing if that's what you want. You know, they don't want to ask you that big question and get rejected. It feels like, so it's quite possible this person is worried about rejection. Let's see here. Worried about, yeah, the fact that I said they're worried about rejection, though, it feels like maybe quite possibly, even though other people around you may see you guys as like the perfect pair, it feels like quite possibly that this hasn't always quite been like that. Like the two of you have probably gone through a rocky phase in your relationship. You may have broken up at some point in the recent, and the two of you are actually trying to work on fixing what the issues were. Temptation. Yeah, there was temptation. That was the problem. Right where I was, right where I was leading to. Unfortunately, with today's world, with social media and so many things directly in our faces, there's a lot of temptation, and sometimes people falter for it. They may not have taken the bait completely, but it feels like quite possibly that temptation, it caused some rockiness. It might have caused your person to question if you were that one. That's where things kind of got rocky for you guys, right? That was the Tower. That's that Tower energy. They were questioning whether or not this relationship could stand the test of time, as to whether or not it would always fit. If you look at this Tower card with Alice in Wonderland, right? It's, even though she doesn't belong in the house, I always say, like, she doesn't fit in it, right? Like, you can't say outgrown it, if you know the movie, but if you look at this overall, it's almost like outgrowing. It feels like this person was wondering at a certain point, and maybe you were too, you were wondering if you've gotten to a phase where you've outgrown each other. And so these conversations have come up as it feels like you've kind of come back together with this person, and now you're having conversations. It feels like this person has learned from their temptation. and they've come back to you, and it looks like they're trying to come back in, asking the questions to see if they still have a place with you, like, or have you outgrown each other? Like, did what happened with whatever this temptation was, whether they actually cheated or not, they might not have physically cheated. You know, maybe it was just the idea of certain things came up. Maybe there was just a little bit too much flirtation with somebody else that they know. And it didn't sit right with you. You know, you felt disrespected is what I just heard. And so, yeah, it feels like whatever this was, whatever this break was, whatever the temptation happened, and you guys kind of took a little bit of a break, they've come back around because they do still believe that you are their twin flame. They believe you guys are a perfect pair. And so they've come back to try and move this forward. They realize that they love you beyond any temptation, and that your relationship can stand the test of time, and that you have not outgrown each other. At least to them. They don't feel like you've outgrown each other. And that's going to be the thing here. I feel like you need some discernment to... You have to discern as to whether or not you truly feel like you still want to be with this person. I feel like if they've been asking the questions, trying to plead with you about what the future might look like between the two of you, maybe they have insinuated about, you know, actually getting married, tying the knot, you know. Maybe you are now questioning, do I still want that? There may have been a time where you were right there with them and other people around you who thought you guys were the perfect pair. Like, you guys were twins. You guys were that Tweedledee and Tweedledum energy. Like, you just went together and fit together so perfectly and so well. And it feels like you may be questioning, like, are we still this underneath whatever happened, right? Like, is our connection strong enough to stand that test, that temptation? I feel like telling you that it very well could. And I feel like telling you that you need to give it a little time before you give a true answer as to yes or no. Because I feel like if you're here looking for answers, your heart is still in it. This person still has a hold on your heart. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here looking for answers. So it feels like I'm supposed to tell you to take a little time to weigh the options, have more conversations, make sure you guys are actually on the same page of the same book, right? Do I still need more Alice in Wonderland? Let me see. I'm going to do one more shuffle through Alice in Wonderland. If something comes out, we'll take it. If not, I'm going to shift to the Celtic Tarot. That's what I feel like the energy is telling me to do here. Nothing came out, so I'm moving on. All right, let's see what this Celtic deck tells us. Some of you may pronounce it Celtic, Celtic, whichever. It just depends on your preference. All right, so let's, hold on before I continue on here. Let's see if this Celtic deck gives us a little bit more insight or answers as far as what you should do. Things you might need to consider. All right. Let's see. Apparently there's a lot of things that want to be said. The High Priestess. This is telling you to look within. Use your discernment. You have to answer. I mean, I can continue to keep on going and we'll read, but ultimately you have to use your intuition. And this actually feels like you're supposed to use your intuition as far as this temptation, about what, like how far this person took the temptation. You know, some people are very quick to be like, no, I don't want to be anyone's second choice. If you fumbled me the first time, that's it, you're done. You know, sometimes it can be that way. But there are other times we come across certain people in our lives that we simply have to recognize that they're not perfect. And that's the thing though. We have to sometimes use our discernment to see, did they simply make a mistake, or is this a pattern? Is this who they are? Are they more narcissistically inclined to where they just, you know, constantly cheat behind your back, and that they're always going to, you know, make you feel some type of way? But the High Priestess is here to tell you to use your discernment, right? You have to use your intuitiveness to decide how to move forward with this situation. Ultimately, no matter what I say, it's on you to decide how you move forward. Or any reader, any person who gives you any kind of advice or anything, right? You don't have to follow anything anyone says. It is up to you to follow through how you feel you should. If you don't feel like you can get over this situation, then as much as this person may feel like a twin flame, you might say to yourself, as much as I love them, I just can't do it. I'll take the lesson and move on. And for others, you may feel, no, I'm going to feel this out, and I love this person, and I'm going to give them a chance to prove that they are still worthy. I think that's what it is too, right? Like, you have to use your discernment. Are they actually worth your time? Are they worth going through and putting yourself through this type of situation, right? Sorry, I just had to adjust my seat here. Let's see. Keep on going. Keep on going. We got a couple here. 7 of Swords. That's like thief type energy. A 9 of Pentacles. You wonder if they have simply stolen your time. That's what this whole reading is about. You're here questioning whether or not to move forward or not, despite the fact that you love them. You're wondering if they're just going to continue to be a manipulative thief, wasting your time, or if they are, in fact, that abundant person. I feel like this is actually you. I feel like this is your energy. Like, they're drawn to you because you are so abundant and light. Your spirit is just depth. Your spirit is high vibed, is what I just heard. And so, yeah, you're questioning as to whether or not this person just is going to be more of a thief and steal more years. Like, that's where I wanted to go with that. You know, I think some of us, we reach a certain age where we say we don't want to waste any more time with the wrong person, right? And I feel like that's what you're kind of weighing between. You're weighing as to whether or not, like, if you continue on with this person, Or are they just going to steal more time? Are they just going to steal more years from you where you could have just moved on and let them go and found something better, healthier? For some of you, the answer is yes. For others of you, if you feel like you want to give this another chance because you absolutely love this person and you've been waiting for them to come back, despite whatever temptations was there, despite whatever issues, then you have every right to move forward and explore that as well. But I will say then, what you maybe need to say to this person is that you will not accept them wasting your time. And that if they are asking these questions about the future, you say to them, what does our future look like? Paint me a picture. Tell me what you see down the line. Why am I your perfect person? Why am I your partner? Why am I the vision for you? You know? And see how they answer. You know? Sometimes a person can straight up know within their heart of hearts that you're it. And other times a person may just be trying to stay trauma bonded, right? It might not, sometimes with twin flames, you'll hear this plenty. I have a love-hate relationship with the twin flame thing. I believe it's a concept and construct, but if you believe in it, I will not take that away from you. But a lot of times with twin flames, there tends to be a lot of trauma bonding, right? And one person who can't ever get themselves together, and then the other person constantly back and forth, giving them chance after chance, that constant push-pull. And, sometimes we have to recognize and realize that it might just be time to let it go, regardless of how much you love that person. I feel like I'm called here to tell you that you have to decipher and discern whether or not that person actually loves you, or if they're just in a pattern of trauma bonding. Let's pull one or two more cards. Let's see what comes out. I don't know. This feels like that typical twin flame bonding where you just stay in a pattern. All right. See how these cards, it feels a little messy. Like as we got a little deeper into this reading, the energy feels a little bit more messy. And I think it's because the situation feels messy to you because as much as you love this person, you just don't know if you can continue. Let's see if Spirit will give us any more messages. We've got one here. Is that one? Yeah, one. 9 of Swords. This is keeping you probably stay up at night plagued by what to do. Unsure. Like your mind just is overtaken by this. And it's infringing upon this high vibe that you normally carry. And if that's the case, you may have to decide to let this go. You know what it made me think of? Is that probably what holds you here is that in the beginning, everything was great. depending on how, I don't know how long, for some of you, it may be only a short period of time. For others of you, it may be months or years that you've put into this. And again, at first, it was great. It was amazing, right? It made you feel bonded, like you were twins. But then this tower happened and this temptation happened, and it shifted everything you thought you knew about this person. It shifted everything you thought about the relationship you had with them. And it's affecting you. It is clearly affecting you. All right, let's see if we could pull one more from this deck. Let's pull one more from this deck. Give me one more message here, Spirit. Yeah, see, messy energy. One more. I want one more. This one felt like it wanted to come out. Three of Swords. You're heartbroken over it. But you know what's funny? Like with this card, if you look here at this Three of Swords, she's holding him. It's almost as if, regardless of the fact that this person hurt you, you're still trying to uphold them, meaning like you care, you have like put their needs and them first before yourself, right? And that's part of what hurts so much. They have taken you out of this Nine of Pentacles energy, this abundance, and you're over here just beside yourself trying to know what to do. And you're heartbroken. But somehow, even in your heartbreak, you're still, like, I bet you the temptation that they put you through, they somehow, I don't want to say that they've made themselves a victim to the temptation, but almost like they played this whole, this whole thing as like, you know, like it happened to them and not like they made a poor choice. Almost like somebody else tempted them, like not they just decided to go out and, you know, be a player, but like, oh, there was this temptress and they brought it on to me. But like, I don't know, like a victim type thing, right? Because somehow they've got you caring for them. Meanwhile, you know, they're over here worried about whether or not they can keep this going, whether or not they can move this forward. Talks of, you know, marriage, popping the question, and they're trying to shy away from the fact that they broke your heart. So they're trying to downplay this a little bit and play this like, oh, it wasn't me, it was her, or, you know, take the roles where they fit, whether it's guy, girl, masculine, feminine, whichever. Okay, they're putting it on, their temptation on the other person, whatever it was, whether it was cheating, whether it was flirting, acting like they're the victim too. And you're over here caring for them. Meanwhile, they're the one who effed up. Where do I want to go from here with this? All right, let's pull my trusty little Witch's Oracle. Let me see if there's anything else for us to go into. Hold on. Book of Shadows. Secret. They were keeping secrets. All right. That we already knew. Universe, we already knew that. Watchtower of the South, Summer. I had this card come out recently as well. Your intuition. This is about your intuition watching out for you in terms of like in spirit. You've got to listen to your higher self. This feels like you can't listen to anybody else's opinion on this. At least that's how you feel. You may be embarrassed about talking to anybody about the situation because people around you, you might not have opened up and told anyone that this person, you know, cheated or, you know, whatever temptation it was, because you guys have a certain reputation together as being a great couple. And you didn't want to tell anyone about the disrespect. And so this tower, this watchtower is like you watching out for your relationship kind of thing. It's another form of your intuition, that High Priestess energy. Watchtower energy, I always think of guardianship. Sometimes, depending on the read, I read this as like your guardian angels are watching you. For some of you, that may be the case. You may be talking to some ancestors and loved ones around you, asking them what to do. And in that case, I feel like no matter what, they're going to say to you the same as I am, is that you've got to use your intuition. This is your choice as to how you proceed and move forward. It is about how they answer the questions that you have about the situation. It is about how they move forward in terms of taking accountability for their actions. If they're sitting here like a victim, like, and you're basically shafting how you feel and worrying about how they feel about the situation, you need to reevaluate this. Because if this person did this and yet somehow you're still worrying about how it makes them feel, you might want to question as to whether or not you've got a narcissist on your hands. In this world today, there's more narcissism than ever. And sadly, I feel like sometimes it's because people have become big on preaching self, self, self. And while that is important, it is important to worry about yourself, right? Like in this situation, right? Like stop, don't turn away from yourself worrying about more about this person when they've been putting you through hell, basically. But sometimes we neglect that it's not always about us, right? Certain things that people do has nothing to do with us, even if it does feel personal. That message is going to make sense for somebody out there. I'm going to try and pull one more here. Tarot cards. You're looking for answers within our cards here. And it says guidance here at the bottom. I'm going to tell you that's the guidance I have for you. I'm going to tell you that you need to listen to your higher self, your intuition. Nobody else can make the decision here except for you. You need to use your discernment as to not only how you feel about this person, but how they make you feel about yourself. Do they, aside from this maybe temptation situation or cheating situation, prior to that, or even since then, are they sitting in this victimhood, or do they believe in your abundance? Do they believe in your spirit? Or have they drained you and sucked you dry of this energy. Because I feel like when you weren't dealing with this, this is this is, right? Because this is our center card. This is your center energy. This is you at your core. Abundant, bright, light. So that is my answer to you. If you can rise above this and come back here to your center, then I feel like if you want to give this person another opportunity, then by all means do so. But if they are doing nothing but draining you and you feel like you're caring for them, even though they're the ones who bring you down, it's time to roll out. That's your answer for today.